The 2002 Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl Classic for Kids, and this is game number 2. We're live at Phillips Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. From the SEC, the Tennessee Volunteers taking on from the Atlantic Coast Conference, the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech. A very pleasant good afternoon, everybody. Bob Rathman, Eddie Fogler, great to have you with us for college basketball today. And Eddie, we've got quite a treat. Two good basketball teams. Tennessee comes in 2-1, Tech at 4-1. And for Georgia Tech, we'll get to see a young man who is already making a lot of headlines around the league, and that is their great freshman, Chris Bosh.
He is an outstanding player, Bob. Chris Bosh has had 5 double-double freshmen.
And a senior will lead Tennessee, Ron Slay, who blew his knee out last year and missed the last 17 games. But he's back. He leads the SEC in scoring and playing like his old self.
He sure has. Ron Slay is leading the SEC in scoring at 24.7 points per game. Incredibly enough, he is 24 of 25 at the foul line for 96%. He can also shoot the 3 outside. He will be a key matchup for the Yellow Jackets.
All right, Georgia Tech and Tennessee. When we come back, we'll have the starting lineups for you and the opening tip after this. Welcome back to Phillips Arena in Atlanta. Bob Rathman, Eddie Fogler with you as we get set for Georgia Tech and Tennessee. Check the starting lineups. First of all, for Tennessee, a true freshman, Stanley Asumnu, at forward with the man we just mentioned, Ron Slay, the SEC's leading scorer so far. Brandon Crump, an improved player, redshirt sophomore, starts in the middle. John Higgins, a great outside shooter, with their freshman point guard, C.J. Watson. And the head coach at Tennessee in his second season, an old friend of yours, Mr. Buzz Peterson.
Yes, sir. Buzz Peterson, his second year, has done an outstanding job trying to reestablish, Bob, this Tennessee program. We need to look right away at the matchups, as I talked about in the opening, to see how Tennessee decides to play Bosh and how Georgia Tech decides to play Slay in the low post. They will both be matched up against each other, and neither coach can afford their best player to get in foul trouble.
For Georgia Tech, they'll start this way.
Starters, when you can afford to have Ed Nelson, the ACC Rookie of the Year, and Marvin Lewis, your returning leading scorer, not coming onto the starting floor, coming off the bench, you really do have 7 starters.
The officials for today's second game, Larry Rose, Tony Green, and Jamie Lunkey. We talked about the fact that at one point, Georgia Tech and Tennessee were in the SEC together. This is, of course, before Georgia Tech became an independent, leaving the SEC and then later joining the Atlantic Coast Conference. All time against Tennessee and Atlanta, Tech has won 19 and lost 14. And Tennessee has gone 7-0 against Georgia Tech since the Yellow Jackets left the SEC. But this is the first time that these two teams have played since 1968-69 season, and Tennessee prevailed in that game. So 2 great rivals getting back together, and they do it for a great cause. Our Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl Classic for Kids here in Atlanta today. Georgia beat Gonzaga in game 1. Now we get set for game 2 with Mr. Lawrence Rose to toss it in the air. We're ready for basketball from Phillips Arena in Atlanta. And the opening tip goes to Georgia Tech. This is Jarrett Jack, Tennessee defending in orange. Here is Muhammad. Low post to Censure. Weak side pass is deflected and out of bounds. The ball belongs to Georgia Tech with 14 on the shot clock. Our Pizza Hut scouting report for today's game.
Well, here we see Tennessee must hit the 3. They were 5 of 25 in their only loss, and they will play multiple defenses to try to negate the balance and depth of Georgia Tech.
Jack spins in. His little runner is good. Jarrett Jack averaging 10 a game and 6.4 assists a game for Georgia Tech.
Tech comes out pressing. They will look to double at the half-court line when they have the opportunities.
C.J. Watson, out of slow. On the wing, Asumnu. Higgins, good shooter. Watson dribbles away from the pressure. Now Slade baseline, little push shot goes and a foul.
Well, right away we can see Georgia Tech has decided to trap the ball screens. They pass it out of the trap, and
Here you see Slay's ability to put it down. Schenscher doesn't have quick feet, and Slay knew he could drive the 7'1" center from the perimeter.
As Slay steps up to the foul line, let's check the Pizza Hut scouting report for Georgia Tech today.
Well, Georgia Tech knows that they have to contain Ron Slay. If Slay doesn't come up big, it'll be very difficult for Tennessee to win, and then they've got to figure out a way to stop. Whoa, got knocked down there.
Muhammad.
Sorry.
Slay missing the free throw.
And then the 2 point guards, we've got 2 freshman point guards, Bob. Which freshman point guard can keep his composure if this game is close down the stretch?
Tennessee and Georgia Tech even at 2. Here's Watson. Tennessee has played just 1 game in 20 days. They may have a little rust to knock off as they get this game going.
And here we see Georgia Tech switching their defense to a 2-3 zone.
Intercepted by Muhammad. Ismail, nice crossover, left-hander, no. Bosch inside, and 1 for his afternoon here in a 5-2 Tech lead. Or Yellow Jacket pressure. Tennessee beats it with Higgins. Asumnu, back out to Watson. This is going to be a backcourt violation, and the ball belongs to Georgia Tech. Buzz Peterson imploring the troops. As we talked about, Tennessee has played only 3 games this season.
I talked to Coach Peterson at shoot around, and he told me I could not remember the name of a team, but somebody canceled out. He was hoping to have had a 4th game by now, but unfortunately it didn't come to be.
Driving is Elder. Bosch against Slay, our featured matchup. Coming over is Crump to help a bit. Now they swing it the other way. Shot clock at 13. Elder fires and misses. Schenscher keeps it alive, but he was on the back of Crump and a foul, his 2nd.
That's the best foul in college basketball, or basketball in my opinion. The offensive rebounding foul is a good foul. You always want your players to go to the board, and when they go hard, occasionally an offensive foul will occur.
Here comes those bench folks you were talking about, Marvin Lewis and Ed Nelson. Old coach once told me it's good to have deep depth, and Georgia Tech's got that.
That's wonderful, as long as it's good depth. You don't want bad depth. They've got good depth. Nice
Good
lead.
anticipation, yes. And Bosch with a pickoff. Jack is fouled going up.
Well, how about that? Georgia Tech double teams. They trap in the back.
Again, Tech with the pressure. 7-2 in favor of Georgia Tech.
And now we see Nelson on Slay. They've got Bosch now on Crump.
Slay, double dribbles. Tennessee suffering its 4th turnover. And I think a part of it, Eddie, is just getting back into basketball rhythm. You're seeing an opponent for the first time in a while. They whistles, a crowd. You know, if you can practice all you want, but there's nothing like game conditions.
Well, practice is fine. As you mentioned, though, you need to play. You need to play in different environments.
Lewis, Bosch, turnaround. Rebound to Tennessee. Kick to the corner, and the 3-pointer is missed by Holden. Jack leaves it. Stepping in is Lewis for the shot, and a rebound foul on Nelson.
Well, that's an excellent look from Marvin Lewis. Marvin is
14 fouls on Georgia Tech. And C.J. Watson with the pass, and it's going to be intercepted and taken back by Tennessee. Lewis with a pickoff, but his pass went right back to C.J. Slay hands it over. Watson sees a little daylight. Now feeds it inside. Crump's push shot. That's good. First field goal for Brandon Crump. 7-4 Georgia Tech. B.J. Elder on the wing. Nelson back to Jack. 3-pointer, no. Tennessee looking to push. Watson fires. And Nelson had it.
That was a poor decision by Watson. Poor shot.
Jack. Volunteers just 1 of 4 in the opening minutes of this game. Plus, they've turned it over 4 times. Jack getting it inside. This is Elder. He hits the deck. Rebound to Bosch. A one-hand jam foul.
Those long arms just reach up there, gobble the ball up, and he jams it home.
Three-pointer from the wing is good by John Higgins. You can't leave him open.
That's a big shot for the Volunteers. Higgins, a very good three-point shooter, 44% coming in. They're going to need that to balance Slay inside.
Nelson. Rebound to Slay with authority. Watson. Slay takes a three. Banks it. Boy, Ron Slay has struggled from the perimeter this year, but hits his first one. He was 0 for 7 at Texas A&M.
He is 27% coming in from 3, Bob, but is a 36% three-point shooter, though.
Nelson inside. Pass deflected and stolen. Man ahead of the pack at Slay. Gets the pass, crashes in, and a blocking foul on Georgia Tech. Elder with his first.
Here we see Tennessee decided to double down. They tipped out the pass, and Slade takes it to the basket, gets fouled, and gets it in the hole. We can see now Tennessee's defensive plan on guarding the post. Once the ball goes into the post, they're going to double down or trap the low post, taking a man from the top of the key down to double the low post offensive player.
Ron Slay with 7 early points, the SEC scoring leader at 24.7 points per game. He's got a 3-point play, and Tennessee has come back to seize a 3-point lead. 14:28 left in the first in Atlanta. And a timeout at Phillips Arena. 9 here in Atlanta. Our featured matchup, Eddie Fogler inside, features Chris Bosch against Ron Slay. Here's Bosch going to work on the offensive play.
Well, you could see Slay went over to help and freed Bosch to the board. He throws up that long left arm of his, and he gets it home. And then Ron Slay on the Tennessee secondary break stands still, Bob. He can knock down the 3 from the top of the key.
Slay has scored 8. Bosch has scored 5. Just getting a breather as Paul Hewitt has made a couple of substitutions. Leotis Tarver is in the game for Georgia Tech, as is Anthony McHenry. Jack handling the basketball. This is Marvin Lewis.
Tennessee with token pressure in the backcourt, settling back into their half-court man-to-man.
Georgia Tech has missed 5 of its last 6 shots. Tennessee by 4 inside. Tarver up and off. McHenry saves it. Jack, shot clock at 8. Nice cut, Lewis.
Excellent court awareness by Jared Jack. He spun in the lane and found Lewis cutting to the basket wide open.
Tip, stolen by Jared Jack. And reverses, left it short. Rebound Tennessee, and a foul on Georgia Tech. This one's on Robert Brooks.
Georgia Tech foul, number 34.
A look at our G8 history last night in a win over North Carolina.
Georgia Tech press. C.J. Watson, the freshman, is giving the ball up way too soon, and Tennessee needs another outlet in the middle of the court to attack the press.
And a travel on Tarver. The second Georgia Tech turnover brings Ron Slay back into the game.
Well, Buzz Peterson brought out an old Coach Dean Smith defense there, Bob. They ran and doubled the pass receiver on the sideline. They trapped him unexpectedly, and Georgia Tech tried to split it, but walked.
6 volunteer turnovers. Even in the half court, Tech's very active defensively. On a good scrambling, knocking the ball away from Slay. Ron trying to dribble in traffic. Boy, it's really congested. Shot clock at 13. Still a loose ball in the lane. Good hands by Tech, and they come away with the basketball. That's a pretty good defense right there.
Excellent effort to get on the floor by Marvin Lewis.
Elder driving. Hit it. Went to Morgan County High School. He finishes that 3-point play.
This press. Watson's got to expect the double team. Here it comes. Now he's going to keep his head up.
And a loose ball, got it back, and taken away by Tarver. 7 Tennessee turnovers. Georgia Tech hanging on to it. Open man in the corner is B.J. Elder. Missed the 3. And a man alone is Ron Slay. He'll wind up in a 2-hand slammer for his 10th point of the game.
Nice pitch ahead by Watson to Slay for the dunk, and the Volunteers come out with their full court press.
Here's Muhammad attacking. And a foul.
It's difficult for the best defensive player not to play a lot of minutes, and Paul Hewitt rewards his best defensive player by starting him and playing him.
Holden in the corner. Back up top to Slay. Tennessee gets it set. Tech leads in 16-15. C.J. Watson in the corner in Winchester. Slay shoots over Nelson. Short. Lost the rebound.
I like Slay from the top of the key when his feet are set. I don't think he shoots it very well when he puts it down just like he did in that last possession. Bosch up and off. Taken down by Wilborn, sophomore from Springfield, Ohio. Here's Winchester. 11 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the first half, and a 1-point affair. Georgia Tech leading Tennessee 16-15. Georgia Tech leads Tennessee by a point. Ron Slay has scored 10 of Tennessee's 15.
Well, here we see Slay's ability to put the ball down and get to the hole. And now his ability to shoot the standstill 3. He's a 35 career three-point shooter, and he does have some hops as well.
Slay has hit 4 out of 5. Has scored 10 points in 8 minutes, 3 rebounds. As we mentioned, Ron has had some huge games, a career-high 31 against Gardner-Webb in the opener. His 5th career double-double at Texas A&M when he had 24 points and a dozen rebounds. And off to a great start in this one.
And here we see Tennessee coming out in a triangle, or excuse me, a diamond-in-one defense guarding Elder man-to-man.
That gets it inside. Muhammad drops it home.
Again, Buzz Peterson changing defenses, trying to counter the balance and depth of Georgia Tech.
John Higgins works it up. Goes to Asumnu. 18-15, Yellow Jackets. Holden. His ball. Tennessee has it. Shot clock continues to run down to 12. Higgins to the corner. And it's going to be a steal for Ed Nelson. Jack ahead, Muhammad. Inside Nelson. Hook. Rebound to Wilborn. Nelson fronting Slay in the low post.
Georgia Tech is trapping all the ball screens, making it tough for Tennessee to continue to run their ball screen plays.
Here's Slay. And a foul. Going up. Wilborn will be at the line. Muhammad with his 2nd.
Wilborn, a very, very good athlete. Shot blocker, rebounder, not very skilled offensively, but certainly gives Buzz Peterson's VOLS a presence around the backboard.
Wilborn is 0 for 2 at the line this season. Coming in for Georgia. Wilborn splits the pair.
Keep his dribble alive better and make more decisions up the court with the basketball.
Nelson uses glass. Ed's first 2 averages 10 off the Tech bench. 2016 Yellow Jackets. Watson. Back out. Asumnu loses it. Now Nelson.
Too much dribbling. The Vols need to move the ball, make the extra pass.
Slay rebounds. Now C.J. Watson. Jack, toss ahead to Lewis. Tennessee back quickly. Jarrett Jack now has it. Nelson inside to Bosch. And out of bounds with 17 seconds on the shot clock. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl Classic in Atlanta. And you're looking at Centennial Olympic Park in downtown. We're at Phillips Arena. Bob Raffinetti Fogler with you. And head coach Paul Hewitt has taken a timeout for Georgia Tech.
Zone here. Again, Buzz Peterson changing defenses, trying to find a defense that would be very effective against the balance and depth of Georgia Tech.
B.J. Elder lines up the three and carries it. The third best three-point shooter in the ACC so far this season at 44%.
Much improved over last year. Elder has elevated his game a full level.
Assumed it. Watson inside Slay, spins, doubled, in trouble, bounces it off, Bosch out of bounds.
There you can see what Georgia Tech wants to do with Ron Slay. If the ball goes into the low post, they're going to trap him at the low post and make him give it up. Slay has only 2 assists for the year. Here it goes inside. He's a great spin player, but here comes the double by Bosch. They've got him trapped on the baseline.
Watson. Assumed new in the corner. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Higgins beats the clock and gets the basket.
Wow, big play by John Higgins. Spins in the lane and makes a tough jump shot. Both these teams, Bob, are zoning out of bounds underneath. I personally, as an ex-coach, would always zone out of bounds underneath.
What's the advantage?
Well, man-to-man plays are much more effective with staggered screens and double downs for good shooters. Zones usually have to beat you with the outside shot, but again, Elder banks home another 3.
Higgins finds Slay for the slam.
Well, there's the senior who has presence of mind to look up through the double team, makes the diagonal pass for the easy dunk by Slay.
26-20, Georgia Tech. Garrett Jack, Elder, he's got the hot hand, a deep 3 this time, and he missed it.
Well, that was a set play, screen the screener by Elder. He sets a back screen, gets a down screen, but misses the open 3.
And Bosch is called for the foul. That will be his first.
Here we see Higgins step through it and looks across the lane, and Slay is wide open and thunders it home.
Georgia Tech puts Ed Nelson back into the game. Luke Sencher goes out. And for Tennessee, Dirk Stribling, sophomore from Tallahassee, is in as Ron Slay steps up to the foul line.
24 of 25 at the foul line for Ron Slay. 96%. Incredible for a 6'8 player.
And 2 for 2 today.
And then, Bob, you add on Brandon Crump, 15 of 16. Their starting center, and combined, they're 39 of 41. They're 5-man and they're 4-man. It's very unusual to have your big people shoot free throws that well. In a full court or 3/4 court press here.
Slay misses. He put the jinx on it.
My gosh. Don't tell anybody, Ron, that I said what I said.
From the wing, Marvin Lewis. He's got 5. Georgia Tech leads by 8. Slay on the wing.
Tennessee struggling to regroup once they break the press. They need to get it back here to Watson, but the clock is already at 20 seconds on the shot clock.
Slay holding, gives John Higgins looking for an opening now on a drive, Stribling, nothing there. Watson, Stribling in the lane, and the pass deflected out of bounds. 3-21, and Tennessee 21. 6:34 in the first half here at Phillips Arena. Our Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl Classic for kids, and our trivia question: in what year standing?
But I don't know the answer. 3 seconds on the clock here.
A little before our time. Putting it up and in, Brandon Crump.
That's the second time the Volunteers have gotten one in as the 35-second shot clock has expired.
Tennessee, Eddie, is 9 of 13, and they're trailing by 6.
It's called 11 turnovers, though. When you don't get shots, it's hard to score, obviously.
Lewis, Tech throws it away. Tennessee basketball. 6:12 in the first half. Paul Hewitt's club played last last weekend at Madison Square Garden. They beat Marist 67-53. Their first game in 8 days. These clubs getting through exam week. Tempo really starts to pick up in college basketball after the holidays. Slay, turnaround. Tipped. Tech has it.
Good look by Slay. Georgia Tech's double team was very late getting down there.
McHenry. And a hand check on Higgins. His first. Higgins a rare breed, Eddie, a 4-year starter in college basketball.
4-year starter from Cleveland, Ohio, was injured his senior year, was not highly recruited, has become a very steady player for the Volunteers, a good solid three-point shooter and a very tough defender on the ball.
Anthony McHenry at the foul line, 6'7", sophomore from Birmingham. 1 of 2 at the stripe this season. And the rebound goes to Slay.
Nelson now matched up again with Slay. They don't want Bosch on Slay because he can pick up fouls.
Scribbling. Higgins kicked out of bounds. And a reset of the shot clock for the Volunteers. Tennessee has beaten Gardner-Webb and VMI, lost to Texas A&M.
Here's the trap of the ball screen. Watson really struggling against the traps.
Inside bullet. Hey, an assist for Slay.
That's his 3rd assist of the year for Ron Slay. Nice look.
And a dunk for Brandon Crump. He's got 6. 29-25, Georgia Tech. Here's Nelson spinning in. A host of orange shirts around him. He gets the basket and a foul. Misses the free throw.
Bobby Crevens did a great job here at Georgia Tech with his coaching and with his outstanding recruiting.
Crump. Trying to power his way through, travels.
That double team was much.
31-25, Georgia Tech. McHenry. Nelson. Volunteers with the basketball. Strong rebound by Wilborn. Here is Watson. Higgins.
Well, let's see where Tennessee goes with Slay out on the bench. Who can score for the Vols?
Layup. Oh, 2 players hit the deck hard. Larry Rose blowing the whistle. It's going to be an offensive foul, and Scribbling is shaken up. That was a bang-bang call, no doubt about that. He had to get to the spot before the offensive player left his feet. 31-25, Georgia Tech. And now we've got a whistle and a foul on Tech. This is on Marvin Lewis.
Bob, here's one of the rule changes in college basketball. That is team possession offensive foul. Up before this year, you would have shot a 1-on-1. Buzz Peterson is asking for the 1-on-1. However, this year, when a team has possession and there's a foul off the ball, you do not shoot the free throws. To me, this is the major change, rule change in college basketball this year, the team possession offensive foul rule.
And the players thought there was going to be a 1-on-1. They started marching to the other end. Here's Watson. 3:50 to play, first half. 31-25, Georgia Tech.
Here's the double on the ball screen.
Watson takes it all the way and lays it in.
Watson just beat the double team. Bosch couldn't get out there quick enough, and he went by both of them.
Garrett Jack, offensive foul. And we have a timeout at Phillips. Paul Hewitt not happy, but his ball club is leading 31.
Maryland loves sports.
Tennessee 31-27. And despite the fact that the Vols have turned it over 13 times, they are within 4. Here's our Toyota trivia question this afternoon for game number 2. In what year did Tech win their only SEC championship? Long before our time, Coach Vogler. This was
I can hardly wait.
1938, first half.
Here comes the trap, C.J. Watson.
He backs it out, gives it to Higgins.
This is a learning experience for C.J. Watson, the VOLS starting freshman point guard. Changing defenses, traps. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Georgia Tech back zone now out of their trap.
Slay on the deck, in the air, rejected by Bosch, out of bounds. He's hit 2 shots already at the end of the clock. Can they make it 3? Yes! C.J. Watson, a 3-pointer. 31-30 Tech, loose ball picked up by Elder, goes to the corner, Lewis a 3, that's no good. In play, and out of bounds. And the ball belongs to Georgia Tech.
Bob, you mentioned before, why is zone better in my opinion? Let's watch those. Sensor gets faked up by Slay, and Bosch comes over and smacks it out of bounds. But much more difficult to get a good shot versus zone out of bounds underneath because you're covering the basket with 3 people.
Sensor needs help. Oh, and a foul on Tennessee. And if it's on Slay, it's his second. No, they charge it to Wilborn, his second. This one pops out on him.
Well, Paul Hewitt probably thinks they're bad misses, but that was also a good miss.
Yeah, he shot it well. 31-30 Tech. Yellow Jackets looking to go 5-1. Cross court, Holden.
Tennessee really has one shooter on the court, Higgins. Georgia Tech needs to know where Higgins is.
Tough pass across the baseline, taken away by B.J. Elder. Crosses over, drives it, shoots it, rejected by Wilborn. Nelson back in, Censure goes out.
Here we see Elder going to the basket, and Wilborn, a very athletic player, blocks the shot out of bounds. Georgia Tech's ball.
Looks like he needed a saddle the way he came down on Elder. 31-30 Tech. BJ hands it over to Jared Jack. Marvin Lewis. Bosch. Shot clock at 8, 7. Jack, high degree of difficulty dribble, and he loses the basketball. Here's Watson with it for Tennessee. Higgins to the wing. Holden lines up a 3. Jack the rebound. Tech running 3, 4-on-2. Jack in the middle. Over to Elder.
Nice decision by Jack, and Elder pulls straight up and banks it in off the board and does not charge. Nice play by the Yellow Jackets.
Tennessee takes a timeout. Picked by a lot of folks to win the SEC.
You know, if they can get Steve Thomas back as well, that would really be a big boost to their basketball club.
Tennessee ready after the timeout.
See if Tennessee tries to play 2 possessions for 1 with 1:10 on the clock. They can get a shot up and guarantee themselves getting another possession after Georgia Tech gets their possession.
Holden. Watson. Outside Higgins. Good coverage on the shooter. Here's Slay down the middle.
Nice play. Volunteers get the ball to the middle of the zone. That's where you want the ball, and they put it in Slay's hands, and he can put it down and score from there.
A 15-point first half for Ron Slay, and Tennessee is within 1.
9-second difference on the shot clock and game clock. Tennessee will get it back one more time.
Bosch at the high post. Jack, Nelson, Elder. Everybody touching it for the Yellow Jackets. Now Elder takes it to the basket. Bosch the offensive rebound and stick up.
Tennessee, excuse me, Bob, Tennessee going to play for the last shot of the half, try to get a shot up with 3 seconds so they have a chance to tip it in if it misses, and it gives Georgia Tech no chance to counter.
On the baseline, here's Wilburn, up top Slay. 1 second, does not get it off in time. And the first half comes to an end. That's about the only thing he missed. Ron Slay outstanding in the first half of play for the Volunteers with 15. Chris Bosch is pretty active as well. Good first half of basketball. And a 3-point game after break. It's Georgia Tech 35 and Tennessee 32. And a very entertaining half of basketball, Eddie. Georgia Tech, I think, in some regards, should feel fortunate they've had extra opportunities because of all the Tennessee turnovers.
Right, Tennessee, 14 turnovers, Bob. C.J. Watson struggling a little bit as a freshman point guard here, making decisions. However, Ron Slay obviously has been great for the Tennessee Volunteers, but the Yellow Jackets need to probably get the ball a little bit more into Bosch at the low post as well.
Speaking of Ron Slay, he looked like an all-SEC performer in that first half. He was outstanding.
Well, here we see Slay putting the ball down. He's excellent going to the basket. He can shoot the standstill three off the secondary break. He can thunder dunk it as well. And here we see Ron's third assist of the year. Three.
Each team hit 3 threes in that first half. This was the big star for Tennessee. Ron Slay, 15 in the first half.
Well, averaging 24.7. He's going to get his, and he's going to need to be big in the second half as well. And we can see Crump off a nice pass by C.J. Watson rolling in the hoop.
Tennessee shooting 65% in the first half, but go down about 2 more lines and look at the turnovers. 14.
Well, that's the key here. The turnovers have hurt Tennessee. They need to make the extra pass.
Our Budweiser in that first half of play. The Tech bench getting a productivity from Lewis and Nelson to outscore Tennessee 9-1. Another big key, of course, is C.J. Watson and his ability to handle the Georgia Tech pressure.
Well, the pressure has shook Watson. His decision-making has been average at best, but he really seems to be nervous when the double team comes. He needs to do 2 things, Bob. He needs to keep his dribble alive, and he needs to find the open man in the middle of the court is the best place to go out of a trap. The post up in the middle of the court.
Let's take a look at our Geico ACC moment. At the beginning, we talked about Tennessee. They must hit the 3, and they got 3 out of 6.
Well, 3 of 6 is outstanding, 50%, Bob, but they were shooting 26 threes per game coming in. They probably need to look a little bit more for the threes, but they're going to have to shoot the ball that well in the second half.
And for Georgia Tech, don't let Slay make you pay.
Well, coming in, the stat sheets surely indicate you got to control Ron Slay, but Ron Slay so far has controlled the Yellow Jackets in the first half.
And the point guards, you have true freshman head-to-head. Jared Jack, I think, got the better of Watson, you'd have to say, in that first half.
He looks a little bit more poised. This is Watson's 4th game, and I don't believe Watson has played against the press the caliber of Georgia Tech's.
Second half about to get underway. Earlier, we talked with Paul Hewitt about the expectations for his Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
We're going to probably start a freshman or a sophomore point guard.
And a good start to date. Georgia Tech is 4-1 coming into this one, and they lead Tennessee by 3. The lovely and talented Larry Rose gives the basketball to Stanley Asumnu, and we are ready for the second half.
Lovely and talented, okay.
Got to take care of the referees.
Absolutely. There's the trap with the ball screen. Every time Georgia Tech will double the ball screens.
And I believe out of bounds went Higgins. That will be the 15th turnover. And Watson still looks a little tentative.
Sure does, and that's an unforced turnover. No reason for the Volunteers to turn that ball over in that possession.
Bosch goes inside. Here's a little flip shot by Muhammad, and he draws the foul.
Bob would be in the middle of the court to what we call the post-up. The post-up should turn and take the ball to the basket or pitch it weak side.
36-32, Georgia Tech. Here's Higgins. Muhammad has him. Higgins looking, trying to go inside, and Muhammad just sat back in the post and intercepted the bounce pass. Muhammad all the way lays it in.
Well, Georgia Tech's best defensive player shows why Paul Hewitt plays him a lot of minutes, because he can really guard the ball, and he's an excellent defender. Nice play in the open court.
Asumnu bidding it back out to C.J. Watson. Asumnu from 15, shot at 14, sent your rebounds. Here's Muhammad. Needs help, finds it in Jack. Bosch at the high post. Deflected. And Elder fouled on his drive.
Ball to the basket. They need to make 4 or 5 passes before they look to shoot.
And Slay hasn't touched the ball here in the second half. Jack lobbing it low. Muhammad spins in, had it blocked, and a foul coming up on Tennessee. Well, it looked like lost in the opener. 39-32, Tennessee has yet to score in the second half. Watson driving. Wild pass and out of bounds. Missed shot for Tennessee. 17 turnovers for the game. Muhammad and inside. Tried to get that to B.J. Elder. Deflected out of bounds. 25 seconds on the shot clock. For three.
Now there's a man-to-man out-of-bounds play. Staggered double screen for Elder coming to the corner for the jump shot. That's why zones are better underneath.
Assume no. Rebound Bosch. Tech running. Elder. Pull up three. Tennessee needs a timeout, and Buzz Peterson takes it as Jordan. He had the wonderful game against Georgia when he scored 24, shooting it well here in the second half. 45-32 in favor of the Yellow Jackets.
And the Yellow Jackets are doing a nice job on Slay, but Tennessee needs to go to Ron Slay on this possession.
Slay has it.
A lot of standing around for Tennessee.
Whistle and a foul. Sensu.
3 on the ball, zone defense.
Well, you know, when you're coaching and you get burned a couple of times, it brings back a lot of bad memories.
I was burned a lot. That's why I'm glad I'm with you, Bob, and I'm not sitting over in Buzz Peterson's seat or Paul Ewart's seat today.
45-32. And I agree with you. Slay has got to get his hands on the basketball. Here's Higgins. Good look. Rims out. Slay the offensive rebound. Powers up off the glass and good.
Well, if they don't give it to you, you can always go get it on the offensive board. The only place to be selfish in basketball is as an offensive rebounder, and Ron Slay got it in the hole.
Nelson throws the hook. Bosch the offensive rebound. Can he get it off? Yes.
Well, Bosch says, I'll get mine on the offensive board.
47-34 Tech. Thaddeus Holden. Watson outside Higgins. Slay a three. Good! His second three-pointer. He had 4 all year coming in.
He can do it all, showing you why he's one of the best scorers in America. Ron Slay, inside, outside, offensive board, low post, it doesn't matter.
Jack got the wing to Muhammad. Bosch looking inside for Nelson. Pass deflected. Here's Muhammad. Shot clock at 13. Elder, baseline. No. Crump clears. Ahead to Higgins.
Good patience now by Tennessee, looking inside, probing the Yellow Jackets defense.
Slay up and off. Bosch the rebound. 7 rebounds for Chris. No basket. Serena. 15-20 to go in our ball game.
Tennessee zone out of bounds underneath this trip.
Elder. Out of the corner, Muhammad.
Trying to get the ball to the middle of the zone. You look low, weak side if you can find the flash in the middle.
Tarver gives to Muhammad. Nelson the offensive rebound. Good poke away by Holden. Preventing a second chance opportunity for Tech. Watson on the drive, but a whistle inside.
Opportunity to get a rest when the clock is not running.
John Higgins to Holden. 10-point Georgia Tech advantage. Three-pointer rebounded by Crump. Brandon up and off. Another Tennessee opportunity. This one blocked by Elder, or by Tarver rather. And it belongs to Tech. Look out from behind. A late ambush on Lewis. Watson up and fouled on his way to the basket by B.J. Elder.
Nice decision by C.J. Watson to take the ball to the basket and get fouled.
Georgia Tech foul on number 1, B.J. Elder. That's his second. Third.
Watson to date in this game, 3 assists and 4 turnovers. Came into the game with 18 assists and 5 turnovers. But as you pointed out, Eddie, he hasn't seen pressure like Georgia Tech's.
All coaches stress to their players, Bob, particularly the guards, we want 2 assists for every turnover. 18-5 obviously is better than a 3-to-1 ratio, but his ratio will go down after today.
Couple of free throws. Tennessee setting up some pressure. Elder swings it to Lewis. Elder for 3. Slay the rebound. Tennessee fell behind by 13, looking to dig their way out of this hole. Watson swings it to Winchester.
Tennessee having problems getting organized here. Here comes the trap off the ball screen.
Slay, swish. Ron Slay, 23 points, his 3rd three-pointer, and his 2nd double-double of the season. He had 10 rebounds today. That's his 6th career double-double. Nelson giving to Tarver, missing, and the rebound to Lewis. And a whistle, a timeout for Georgia Tech. 7 points for Marvin Lewis on the stick back. And Georgia Tech takes a 7-point lead.
Well, part of good defense is defensive rebounding.
Kept hitting big shots, kept getting leg cramps.
And kept knocking them in the hole.
49-42. Big 3 for Holden out of the corner. He's had a strange start. Holden had 11 in one game against VMI, scoreless in the other 2 games. A big 3 here to pull Tennessee within 4. Good comeback by the Volunteers.
Well, we talked about Slade being big, and they would have to shoot the 3 well, and so far both things are happening.
And off the hands of Lewis, out of bounds. Paul Hewitt's Yellow Jackets came out of the blocks in the second half and scored 10 unanswered to lead by 13. But Tennessee's been whittling away, and they've got it down to 4.
And it all started with Slade's great offensive rebound when he got it back in the basket.
49-45. C.J. Watson looks, finds Holden. Watson going inside. Tennessee lucky to save it. Shot clock at 7. Slay comes down with it. That Bosch, Jarrett Jack, McHenry, Censure, and Lewis on the floor for the Yellow Jackets.
Tennessee going zone. They have to know where Lewis is. Outside of Lewis, this is not a particularly strong 3-point shooting team for Georgia Tech.
Bosch faking. Jack has it. Now Lewis. Lewis waiting. His pull-up. Slay the rebound. Tennessee down by 4. Slay loses the dribble, but it's kicked out of bounds by McHenry.
Ron Slay, almost too talented for his own good. An excellent ball handler, but tends to put it down too much.
And we have a timeout at Phillips with 11:39 remaining in the game. Georgia Tech's 13-point lead has been cut to 4 for the first time since the 68-69 season. And we have had a wonderful game today. Our Chrysler game summary: the big offensive star has been Ron Slay, 23 points and 10 rebounds. He has hit 3 3-pointers today. P.J. Elder outside has been magnificent. 4 of his 6 field goals have been 3s. The turnovers helping Georgia Tech, but now Tennessee has put a run together, 11-2. Now they turn it over for the 19th time. That's a travel on Lewis, and Georgia Tech gives it right back. C.J. Watson gives to Ron Slay, the Nashville senior. To the freshman Watson. This is Winchester. Slay. In and out. Muhammad fighting for the rebound. It's out of bounds. And it's going to be a jump, I believe, a held ball, and the arrow will give it to Georgia Tech.
Nice inside pivot by Ron Slay. Excellent footwork to catch the ball at the medium post. He inside pivots, he squares up and gets a good look at the basket, but it just rimmed out.
49-45 Georgia Tech. Again, Tennessee shows zone. Lewis inside Sensu, the 7'1" Aussie. Throws it away. Well, the Tennessee turnovers were piling up. Now Georgia Tech is struggling handling the basketball.
And the changing defenses of Buzz Peterson Tennessee Volunteers are now beginning to take their toll. In fact, they kind of have gotten into where they think the zone's the way to go. Georgia Tech is now struggling versus the zone. When you play a lot of defenses, after a while you figure out which one is working best for you.
Georgia Tech has turned it over 3 times in their last 4 possessions. Tennessee down 13, a chance to get it down to 2, maybe 1 with the 3. Winchester, no. Down to 2 of 9.
Tough shot contested.
Jack, kick out to the corner. Lewis. Jack inside Sensu. Goes with the hook and powers it into the basket. 51-45.
That might have been blocked in the basket.
Loose ball, Winchester controls. John feeding, Holden. Out of Slow. Winchester. Slay right to the rim, lays it home.
Well, somebody went to sleep for Georgia Tech. Nobody was guarding Ron Slay.
Muhammad.
And then somebody went to sleep for the Volunteers. Nobody was guarding Muhammad, Bob. 2 easy baskets. Both teams having defensive breakdowns.
Muhammad in double figures for the 3rd time this season with 10. 53-47. Thaddeus Holden. Here's Crump. Lost the dribble. Bodies falling. Ball out of bounds.
Here's Slay. Nobody picking up Ron Slay. Too easy. Georgia Tech's got to find Slay and know where he is at all times.
You know, if there's one guy you had to pick for Tennessee to guard at all times, I think you'd pick Ron Slay.
I think you'd guard him in the locker room, find him early.
Jack. Now to Eldon. Inside Nelson.
Well, he can do it all. He puts it on the floor. He dunks it. He shoots it from 3. He sells popcorn at halftime. He can really play. What a scorer.
The free throw by Ed Nelson. His 5th point. His godfather is none other than Richard Dent, the former NFL great. Figure with that body, he could put a hurting on somebody as a defensive end. Nelson 2 for 2. Ed has 6. 55-47.
There's the post up to Higgins. Go.
Slay fakes. Fakes again. And it's out of bounds.
Nice press offense by Tennessee. Watson hit the post up Higgins, who then attacked the basket and gave it to Slay.
Georgia Tech leading by 8. Watson gets it in. Derek Stribling in the game. Higgins has not scored in the 2nd half. Slay with 7. Up and in.
Wow.
They work for those 2.
How about that pump fake? He puts it down and then he arches it over Chris Bosch's long arms.
Muhammad. Jump stop. Dish. Lay-in. Ed Nelson. 57-49 Tech. With 8:10 to go in the half.
Not a standing for Tennessee.
Slay. He's being asked to really do it all now offensively. They haven't gotten shots for John Higgins. Elder, an open look as Higgins went for the steal, and Elder makes him pay. 5 threes for B.J. Elder.
Tennessee needs a basket on this possession.
The Georgia Tech lead back to double digits at 11. Inside turn. Not a good attempt, and Tech is running with Muhammad. Pull-up jumper. Ismail with 12, and Buzz Peterson is forced to take another timeout.
It's the 2, and the Yellow Jackets off to a nice spurt.
Jackets lead Tennessee 62-49.
Good timeout by Buzz Peterson. His team looks tired as well, but he also needs to regroup.
Georgia Tech setting up the pressure. 9-2 Tech run. They don't make it easy with this press. Coming up the sideline, Stribling. Slay. Here's Higgins for 3. Little long. Slay, the offensive follow, no. Georgia Tech controls with Nelson. Well, they did get the ball to Higgins.
Good look. Slay unfortunately misses an easy one as the offensive rebounds the ball. B.J. Elder is now in as a point guard. I think Tennessee ought to come back and start pressing.
Nelson rejected inside. Nelson scrapping for it. Did he get a timeout? Hold everything. Yes, he did. Nelson got the... They need some defensive stops even at this juncture. Elder loses the basketball, and Tennessee gets one. And running are the Volunteers. Scribbling, kicks, Watson shoots, hits.
Nice play. They need to start pressing with Elder as a point guard. He's really a small forward, big guard playing the point for Georgia Tech.
And with that, Jarrett Jack gets off the bench and goes to the scorer's table to check in at the point. Muhammad to Nelson. Whistle inside, and Wilborn muscling Schenzer for the foul. Atlanta, Georgia. And our Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl Classic for kids. Bob Rathman and Eddie Fogler. Great to have you with us. Tech goes inside. Another rejection by Wilborn, and Tennessee gets a fast break going with Higgins. He backs it out. Plays to Watson. CJ now. Tennessee looking for points to get back in this thing late. Here's Slay, and pushed out of bounds with Ed Nelson. His second foul.
Ron Slay loves to spin at the low post. He's got very quick feet, loves to put it down and spin.
Ball out of bounds for Tennessee. Higgins. Tennessee trailing by 11.
3 would be huge if they can get an open look, and then they need to start pressing.
Watson can't hit the 3. Wilborn tips it, but it's secured by Jarrett Jack. Jack kind of played off of
than their opponents coming into this game, which is incredible. That's an awfully good sign for them offensively to get to the foul line.
But they got to cash in when they get there. 3 out of the corner by Higgins. His first second half points and his second 3 of this game. Volunteers still in this thing, 62-54. Nelson to the wing and Lewis. Bosch off his hands. Tennessee pushing. Stribling lays it in. 62-56.
A lot of time left in this basketball game. Nice play by Tennessee. Their defense is picking up.
7 straight points for the Vols. Nelson. Bosch plays it back out front. And we've got a blocking foul on Watson. Jarrett Jack, second free throw, good.
Georgia Tech only 14 fouls. They can continue to be aggressive with their presses.
Watson. He's got to be careful now with 4 fouls. The hook won't go by Wilborn. Tipped. Tennessee, a follow no, and a foul inside. Bosch with the foul, his second.
Offensive rebounding is so important in basketball. Extra opportunities to score. Big rebound by Higgins.
John Higgins, as Eddie mentioned, led the SEC in three-point shooting as a sophomore, 48%.
55 against Fogler when he coached at South Carolina, I might add. Never missed. Cleveland, Ohio native.
Missed them both, but we may have a lane violation here. And Higgins is going to get a reprieve, or no, the violation's on Tennessee.
Tennessee substitution number 10, Thaddeus Holden.
Thaddeus Holden in. Tennessee sets up the press. Nelson looks inside. Loose ball, out of bounds is Muhammad. And Tennessee gets it back.
Poor decision by a smart basketball player. Up 8, 4 minutes to go. Should pull the ball back out. Georgia Tech needs to start running clock and then looking to get fouled or get a good shot as the clock winds down.
John Higgins. And a whistle stops play inside. And Nelson. Bosch, the 2 kids we're talking about at the open sleigh, has been their go-to guy. No question about that.
Well, he's been terrific inside and out. Bosch has played within himself. Chris has not gotten a lot of looks at the basket, but he has the poise and presence of mind not to force things.
64-56.
Tennessee needs a great look at the basket, and then they need to pound the offensive board and then start pressing anytime they get a chance defensively.
Holden. Watson.
The zone slowing down Tennessee. The clock is running. Good move by Paul Hewitt.
John Higgins. Hoisting. Hitting. That baby took a victory lap before it dropped through the net. His third 3. 64-59. Backdoor cut to Muhammad. Blocked inside. Well done by Wilborn. Tennessee down 5. A 3-ball side pocket. Holden, no. Rebound Elder. Boy, that would have been a big shot for Tennessee.
Wilborn has been a huge factor inside with his shot blocking here tonight for Tennessee.
Here's Bosch. Elder, 20 seconds to shoot. 2:35 to go in the game. Bosch in the paint. Another block inside by Wilborn, and a foul on Georgia Tech.
How about that? Chris Bosch goes to the right-handed jump hook. He's a lefty, goes to his right hand.
5th block of the game for Wilborn.
I love the move. He comes back to his right hand, and Wilborn again off his defensive player, Shenser, to block the ball. Wilborn, leading shot blocker coming into this game for Tennessee with 7 blocks.
He's got all 5. Sensor with his 4th foul, and that sends Holden to the line for a 1-and-1. First time he's been to the line this season. Nothing to it.
It's easy. Get me here more often, Coach.
And an ankle injury in the Gardner-Webb game. Stayed into play 22 minutes that night. Hits both free throws. Tough kid, good defender, and Holden with 2 key free throws. Now Derek Stribling comes back in for Tennessee. And folks, we got a ball game, 64-61.
Excuse me, Bob. Both teams shooting 1-and-1. Both teams have 2 timeouts left. Next jump ball goes to Tennessee.
And a tip, it's going to be Tennessee with it. Slay is fouled by Bosch, or is it? It's a foul on Elder. His 3rd, and to the free throw line goes Ron Slay. Boy, Georgia Tech, Eddie, it looked like they had delivered 2 knockout punches, one at the start of the second half and another with about 6 minutes to go, and they got up by 11, but Tennessee's come back each time.
Well, give credit to Buzz Peterson and his coaching staff. They've done a great job keeping these guys focused on their team. They never gave up. The big 3 by Higgins turned this around here in the last few minutes. And Wilborn again on the defensive end has been a shot blocking fool down there. He's been swatting balls away.
A 1-and-1 coming for Ron Slay.
Point I'd like to make here, we have on the court now for Georgia Tech, Nelson and Lewis. They did not start the game. It's not who starts a game, it's who finishes a close game. And you can see who Paul Ewart really wants to go with down the stretch of this very close game.
Georgia Tech, a Tennessee lane violation. Block shots have been outstanding, 5 for the night. Here he comes from behind, rears up and blocks Bosch. He's our all-tell player of the game. Here is a missed front end by Bosch. So both teams struggling to the corner. And Higgins now back to Watson. 2:06 and counting.
They need to go to Slay on this possession. He needs to get inside and want the ball.
He's not all that aggressive as the ball comes his way on the side. Wide open Watson for 3. C.J. Watson ties it at 64. And a whistle and a foul on Tennessee.
Ron Slay bumping Chris Bosch, impeding his progress, and Jamie Luckey calls the foul. C.J. Watson from the top of the key takes his time and buries a huge 3 for Tennessee.
And Bosch to the foul line. 2 free throws for Bosch. That's the 10th team foul on Tennessee. See, a 1-point Georgia Tech lead.
A lot of time left in this ball game. Tennessee needs to have patience. They need the perfect possession. They need a great look at the basket, and they need to pound the offensive board for second opportunities. And Slay is not really demanding the ball.
No, he is not. That ball's in play, and it's a steal for Georgia Tech. Muhammad missed the dunk, but he's fouled.
Good call by the officials. Still bad luck for Tennessee.
But the door is ajar, 66-64, as Tech continues to miss free throws, and Tennessee will take a timeout with 1:18 left.
Good timeout by Buzz Peterson. Slay particularly looks tired. He has not been very active offensively in the last few minutes.
And this is when they need him the most.
Absolutely. They need to go into Slay if possible. If Georgia Tech comes with the double team, Slay needs to kick the ball out to the open player.
66-64 Georgia Tech. These are 2 schools with great basketball histories. You remember these guys? The Bernie and Ernie show at Tennessee.
Absolutely. They were fabulous players for Coach Ray Mears at Tennessee when he had some great teams.
They alternated the scoring title. They're 3 years together. Bernie won 2, Grunfeld won 1 SEC scoring title.
Of course, I was interested to see Ernie's son playing for Mike Montgomery at Stanford now as a freshman.
66-64. 1:12 left. Tennessee down 2. Watson hit a big 3. This is Higgins going inside to Slay, and he'll shoot 2. Well, they went to the big fella, and he'll shoot 2 to tie it.
Nice set play by Buzz Peterson. He has Slay swing the ball. Slay gets a back screen into the post-up position. And here comes the double by Georgia Tech. You're going to always double him at the low post, but he creates the contact, and the foul is called.
4 on Ed Nelson.
96% free throw shooter coming into today, although he's missed 1 early in the first half.
And missed that run into the 1-and-1 on the foul
Excuse
moment
me, 2.
ago.
Correct.
Well, you've sufficiently jinxed him.
Please don't say that.
Look at that line. 27 and 13, and the 13 rebounds, a career high. He's so good, Eddie, he shoots through the jinx. Just 28 points. So Muhammad goes out. And Marvin Lewis comes back in.
Georgia Tech, 2 timeouts left, Tennessee 1. If I'm Georgia Tech, if I'm Coach Hewitt, I'm thinking about playing 2 for 1 here. Oh, he missed another.
And Georgia Tech gets the rebound. A minute to go.
1 minute.
A 1-point lead for the Yellow Jackets.
Georgia Tech will get a possession here and will guarantee themselves 1 more possession as well.
Inside to Bosch. Couldn't hit it. Rebound, Wilborn. Tennessee with the ball, trailing by 1.
10-second differential from the game clock to the shot clock. So Georgia Tech will get this basketball back 1 more time at least.
Tennessee hasn't led since it was 15-14. Slay to Watson. Bosch trying to front Slay, and he does. Wilborn, 10 seconds to shoot. Watson, a deep 3. In and out. Rebound to Bosch. He goes down. And a foul on Tennessee. Ron Slay with his 3rd. Is he okay? He hit the deck. So did Bosch.
Tennessee foul on number 35, Ron Slay. That's his 3rd.
Good patience by Tennessee. No way was Georgia Tech going to let the ball go inside to Slay. And Watson rims one in and out. Great hands by Chris Bosch on that defensive rebound as well.
So 2 free throws for Chris.
A lot of time left for Tennessee. There's enough time left on any miss. Tennessee could still go down, score, get a 2, Bob. They get the first good look, whether it's 3 or 2, and then take a timeout if it's a 2. They've got 1 timeout left.
Bosch hits the first. That makes it a 2-point game. Lewis out, Muhammad in.
Here you have situation substitutions occurring. The best defensive player now back on the court for Georgia Tech as they go back on the defensive end of the court.
67-65. Second free throw. Good. Timeout. Georgia Tech. 2 huge free throws for young Chris Bosch.
Like it was at Lincoln High School where they were 40-0 last year in the state of Texas, and now as well for Georgia Tech. I would do something called 3-point defense when I was coaching at South Carolina. We would switch every perimeter screen outside of 3-point line to make sure we cover the ball and don't give up any looks from 3.
13, 12. Tennessee needs a 3 to tie. Slay has it blocked by Bosch. And a foul on Tennessee. 2 free throws and a big block for this rising star in Atlanta.
Excellent hedge out on the ball screen by Nelson. He didn't totally switch, but he stayed out on the shooter long enough so the 3 could not get up. And then Bosch with those long arms blocks Ron Slay's 3-point attempt.
Now Nelson at the line with 2 free throws. 3.7 left. Tennessee has 1 timeout remaining. One more look at the Bosch block. And now Buzz Peterson will try to freeze Nelson with a timeout and set something up for his team. If Nelson hits it, it's pretty much academic, but if he misses, Tennessee's got to be ready to go.
Absolutely, and Tennessee is now out of timeouts. If he hits the free throw, it's over. If they miss the free throw, if Tennessee can gather it, they need to push the ball up the court. I would think by the pass. I don't think there'll be much time to get a good shot off the dribble. We'll see if Tennessee puts somebody down the court on this free throw attempt. So see if they can defensive rebound, pitch it up the court, and maybe get a look from 3.
Tech has 1 timeout left. Ed Nelson missing the first of 2. Still some doubt about the outcome here. But Nelson could nail it down here, last year's ACC Rookie of the Year.
And Paul Hewitt does a smart thing. He takes both his players off the free defenders.
Missed it. Tennessee has to come quickly. Oh, and a foul. They won't even get a chance for a 3-point attempt. Now, with 1.4. And Jarrett Jack with his second foul. So now, Coach, do you hit one and intentionally miss the second?
Well, there's two ways to go. You can do that, hit the first, miss the second, or you can make both and then try to steal or get a 5-second count on the out-of-bounds play. I'd try to miss the second. I'd ask Higgins to bang home the first and now intentionally miss the second and see if we could offensive rebound it if I was coaching this game for Tennessee and tie this ball game up with a 2, or maybe tip it out and get lucky and hit a 3 for a winner.
Looks like he's trying. They're trying to set it up for the miss. Oh, he banked it in. Now the foul with .5. Now, what's interesting about this is even if you hit the 2 free throws, you're up 3. So you've got a chance for a miracle.
You have a chance if he hits both to steal the inbounds pass and lay it in, or to get a 5-second violation. The ball could not be inbounded, and Tennessee would have gotten the ball back out of their own, underneath their own basket. He probably should have had a substitute up for the shooter. It would have stopped when the ball went in. He could have got his defense set perhaps to get a better chance for the 5-second count or to steal the inbounds pass.
Now, if I were Elder, I'd miss this shot. And just half a second.
I would agree.
By the time they touch it, the game's over.
He's got to hit the rim with his miss.
But if it goes in, they got a chance to take it out of bounds without the clock running.
Good call, Coach Rathburn. I would agree with that. He needs to miss this shot.
And he puts it in. Now Tennessee can heave it and shoot it and tie this game. From midcourt, he's got a chance. Oh! He hit it! He hit it! And we're going to overtime. And they won the game. They're gonna take a look at it. Tennessee has won it on a miracle 3. But the referees are gonna check it. Unbelievable. All you gotta do is miss the free throw and the ball game is over. But Elder hit the free throw. That gave Tennessee the chance out of bounds, and a miracle 3 wins it.
Well, you called it, Bob. You made that suggestion, and here we can see Slay looking up the court. And Higgins from behind the half-court line throws one in the basket.
And the basket's good. They reviewed it, which you're allowed to do on a game-ending basket. And the officials say
the basket counted, and Tennessee has an incredible come-from-behind win.
70-69, Tennessee on a miracle. Wins it over Georgia Tech.
This is the